Why do we restructure? Restructuring actually is driven by a lot of factors. It could be reduction of cost, one. It could be adopting a new technology. It could be making the processes more efficient, or even just allocating resources and teams to different units, to different organizations. So all this could involve restructuring. A restructuring process, in my view, happens all the time. It begins with setting clear objectives, and then milestones to achieve them, and ultimately a clear definition of what would be the end result. Then another important factor is, why do we restructure now? Is that probably in my professional experience, this is the best time, primarily because there are regulatory environment which is in favor, such as Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code 2016, which makes it very transparent and in clearly laid out terms as to what all you need to do in order to achieve the restructuring. So no longer, I would say, earlier the legacy situation or regulatory framework was such that you had to also put various other factors, such as your customers or such as your suppliers before you, in order to ensure that you can adopt a more investor friendly model. But now the regulation has changed, and it is more in favor of creators. The very people who provide services, goods, finances to the business, should the owner deviate very much from the defined path of maximizing the returns, the law favors the creators to take the matters in their hand, and they can ensure or help the company go through the transformation. So there is a clear laid out process which is primarily driven by stakeholders. The transparency levels are very high. The process is, one, legally monitored, two, it's open to scrutiny by the regulator, and three, it's very transparent. And yes, there exist a lot of gaps, as I would say. No law is perfect. In fact, it has its own set of problems. For example, what has been really observed is that the creators have purely been considering these restructuring opportunities merely as financial restructuring. But a business needs a lot of a vision to sustain, to survive in a longer duration. So what has been observed now is that if you are in a kind of industry which is highly competitive, so there are only two options. One is that either you get taken over by your nearest competitor, or second, if not, then you get thrown at the liquidation, which in most of the cases would disrupt the entire value chain. In fact, the returns to stakeholders is very minimal. So, and besides, if you are in a niche sector wherein your products or your technology is not something that the world understands, then probably you would not find the right suitors. As in, there's high chances that such business would not continue beyond a certain timelines, given the fact it may not have fully arrived, or the market is not fully prepared to absorb such product and services. And yes, it's very much facilitating a lot of our clients, because we've been giving this perspective to our clients as to what is the best strategy in terms of restructuring, because there are so many measures and tools which are available in the regulations. Of course, when it comes to being a creator, you have an undefeatable tool which now you can force your debtor to pay in a time-bound manner. However, when you are on a receiving end, as in when you have a lot of creators, then it's a reverse pay. So what we have done, for example, recently we have helped one of our clients to restructure their receivables by negotiating, by discussing with the customer, and it has been very effective in many cases. Similarly, in another case, we have guided our client is that since their business was not doing so well, and they had a workforce of nearly 100 employees. So in legacy system, this would have really gone into industrial disputes. So we have structured the entire assignment into 3 phases: pre-liquidation, during liquidation, and then what happens when you are actually in the process of liquidation. So during the first phase, when we had prepared our clients to liquidate, what are the issues and what are the risks that they need to take care. For example, how do they manage the manpower? How do they ensure that there are no legal issues? How do they communicate with customers? Because it's important that there should not be any damage to the reputation, because majority of our clients are multinational. So we have broken the issue into various achievable milestones, and then we have guided our clients in each step, one step at a time. And that's really helped our client to retain the trust of the employees, the trust of the customers, and of course, since the entire exercise has been planned very methodologically, so we have even ensured that we are fully transparent with our disclosures to the government. And so this is what I would say, that these are the times. Difficult at times for every business, and one should not really shy away. Should there be a need or a vision to restructure, why not?